Hey guys, I'm Sebastian.
I'm Christine.
And this is This Week in Vegas,
The Ninth Island Connection podcast, where we're bringing you everything happening this week in Vegas, including news, weather, and events. So let's get to it. Big story here in Vegas is that we are going to be saying goodbye to the Cromwell and hello to the Vanderpump come 2026. So we do have the rest of this year to appreciate the Cromwell, but it is official. Caesars announced that they are rebranding the Cromwell, which, if you're not familiar, the Cromwell is a small boutique hotel located between Flamingo and Horseshoe, and it's a really cute little place. I mean, I guess I can see where they would pick it to become the Vanderpump because it's boutique-y and kind of trying to make it a little more on the bougie side for properties, but yeah, it's a shock.
Not sure what to expect there, but I mean, they're taking over Vegas, and Caesars, for better or worse, whatever you think, is really just rinsing and repeating at every property.
Exactly.
If you look at Caesars, you've got Bobby Flay, you've got Buddy V's, you've got
Gordon Ramsay,
you've got Guy Fieri,
Giada,
yeah. Vanderpump, then move over to Paris.
You got the same thing.
You've got like the same stuff there, and then Flamingo. They opened a Gordon Ramsay burger
and a Vanderpump.
There's a Vanderpump there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's whatever for me. Really, it's kind of more of the same in another location, which I think it's a shame. Nothing against Vanderpump. Obviously, very strong business mindset and has been very successful. Congratulations, not taking anything away from that. A very successful entrepreneur here in Vegas. But from the Caesar side, and as a local and tourist, I consider us both because we live here in Vegas. This is our home.
And we staycation.
We staycation a lot on the Strip, so we fit in that tourist category as well. It's just the same thing somewhere else. And it's a shame because Cromwell was just its own unique property. I mean, aside from Giada, which is, you'd never know it was there if you didn't know it was there. You can't just happen upon Giada's because it's upstairs. It's such a unique little spot. And a lot of people like the autonomous feeling of Cromwell. It's just kind of its own little thing, you know?
I'm interested to see how they're going to change it.
I'm not at all.
I definitely have to add a few more stays at the Cromwell this year before it becomes revamped.
Something I'm definitely not looking forward to.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's going to be a transition like Bally's to Horseshoe, where the property stays open and it's just kind of a mess. So we'll keep you guys posted on how things move along with the transition from Cromwell to Vanderpump. Next up, this is a sad one for you, Mr. Buffet.
Well, we've got the Luxor shutting down the buffet on March 30th. I love buffets because I get to sample a bunch of different things for one price.
Yeah. And I, on the other hand, I'm not a buffet fan. I'm not a fan of there's too many choices. They're not like always super great quality. And I mean, if they have an omelet station or some kind of like fresh food station, I will eat that. But he loves them. I'm not a huge fan. So for me, it affects me none. But I know there's a lot of you out there that love buffets. And Luxor is kind of one of those buffets that has people who think it's fine and people who think it's garbage.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the whole, how everyone will feel out there. You guys let us know. All right, moving on. There is a new ABC store that's opened at Boulevard. If you're not familiar, the Boulevard is this big monstrosity that is being built across from Aria and the Shops at Crystals, replace the Hawaiian Marketplace area, and it's just going to be higher end retail and dining, and it's still in the process. Some stores are slowly opening right now, including the ABC store, which is great because you know us, we love the ABC store deals. There's 2 in the Miracle Mile shops. There's one over across from Park MGM. There's one in Fashion Show. and then downtown as
There's
well.
the one downtown.
Yeah, so they're great places to get a deal. And again, we say this every time we mention ABC Store. They should sponsor us because I feel like we mention them all the time, but they're not sponsoring us. We just want to give you guys a heads up on another way to save here in Vegas.
Everything that we share with you guys is purely based on our experience and our opinion, which is why we're always soliciting feedback from you guys. We want to hear from you guys on what you think about the content that we share. So be sure to comment below.
All right, next up in the news, Area 15 is expanding. If you're not familiar with Area 15, it's not Area 51. It's not the place that does not exist, but exists, but I don't know, can't go near it. So it's not that place. Area 15 is an immersive art experience facility. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just a really awesome place. We've done a lot of videos on it on our YouTube channel. We've featured it on our television show many times just because there's so many things happening out there. But they are expanding by 20 acres, which is like going to double.
It's footprint there.
Yeah. It's going to be a huge, even like it's big now, but it's going to be even bigger. And they actually have 60% of their pre-leased space
for the new spot that's not even built yet.
Yeah,
that's how much of a draw Area 15 is. So we're really excited about that. They're going to have the Burning Man's Boeing 747 art installation. We've never been to Burning Man. We've seen it on social media. So that, if you've been there, that Boeing 747 art installation is going to be over there. Dolls Kills flagship store. I've never been to a secondary or third level store of Dolls
I feel like I need to clarify here. It's not like a creepy store with like collector dolls and Chucky's and all of that stuff. It's a clothing accessory company.
Well, their flagship. So if they're going to have a flagship, they've got to be popular throughout the country. So their flagship is going to be there. Universal Horror Unleashed, Museum of Ice Cream's largest location. I had no idea there's a museum of ice cream.
But why wouldn't there be? And why wouldn't the largest one come to Vegas?
And the largest one is going to be here at Area 15. So that's huge. And one thing that I know that locals and visitors both are going to be excited about is iFly indoor skydiving. As you guys may know, or maybe you didn't, Las Vegas indoor skydiving, which was down there by Siegel's Bagel Mania.
Kind of by the convention center,
They were there for like 40 years. They shut down because the city's going to be doing something over there, which makes sense because that's near Resorts World Las Vegas, near Fontainebleau, and the indoor skydiving had been there for 40 years. That area had not been touched. So I'm sure they saw the writing on the wall. But good news again for visitors and locals. There's going to be an indoor skydiving over there at Area 15. So that's pretty huge too.
Yeah. All right. And this will excite a certain someone that we know. Harry Styles is in the talks of becoming the newest residency at the Sphere. They're looking at 35 different shows, which I'm sure will increase but they're going to start with that 35 and then there'll be added shows and encores and all that kind of good stuff, I bet. But
well, I mean, 35 is a lot. If you think like one per week, that's almost a full year that he would be here in Vegas. That's a lot of shows for a residency. Typically the residencies that we see are like 8 shows or 7 shows, something like that. So 35 is a pretty big amount of shows.
Yeah, I think that'll be actually a really fun one with just utilizing all the Sphere has to offer because I mean, you've seen some of his videos. They're very artistically done. So I feel like he's going to really take advantage of all the fun that goes along with this Sphere.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun. I'll pass on attending, but I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun for Harry Styles fans.
Yep.
So next up, Jerry Seinfeld, who's always here, at least for the past several plus years. He's here at some point throughout the year, has announced some new shows or additional shows. So May 2nd and 3rd, September 5th and 6th, and October 10th and 11th. And that's really just 6 more dates spread out throughout the year over at the Caesars Coliseum.
Yep. And there's been a few, actually, that's just the beginning of all the who's coming to Vegas. We've got Earth, Wind, and Fire coming October 10th through 25th, various dates in there, not every day during that time period. That's going to be over at the Venetian. You can check out their website for more specific details.
The big one is Beyonce going to be at Allegiant Stadium on July 25th, but tickets are going on sale, pre-sale, $325. And in my experience, when it comes to events, pre-sale being $325, that means they want to see how many tickets they're going to sell, how quickly they're going to sell out on the 25th for the date of July 25th. And then based on that, more than likely, they're going to have at least another date after that.
That's what happened last time she was at Allegiant Stadium. So I would not be surprised if they add a second date.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And speaking of second dates, The Weeknd has actually added a second date to his, because, you know, he sold out at Allegiant Stadium. So now they're adding a second date, and that is going to be on July 4th. All right. And the Water Lantern Festival is coming back to Vegas. That's going to be on April 6th. Just a heads up on that.
So we've got some jackpots to talk about. Love talking about jackpots because
you feel like the more you talk about them, the more you're manifesting.
Yeah, I think so, because we just stayed at Caesars just last week for two nights. We stayed on the Strip, which was a crazy whirlwind, and we didn't win it. I mean, we did fine, I guess. We didn't lose everything, but I feel like we didn't win anywhere. We didn't really win anything either.
Yeah, enough to just keep you in. Like, here's your money back. Go give it back, and then eventually we'll take it.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how it felt to me.
Kind of how it was. But we still had a fun time. And we were entertained, and that's what it's all about. It's entertainment when you're gambling. So never expect to win. You should always expect to lose. Here are some people that actually won, and I'm sure they were just as surprised as we're going to be when we win our jackpot on the Strip. So let's get into it. Down at the Cal, somebody on a $2 bet won $37,809 playing Texas Hold'em.
Nice.
I don't play Texas Hold'em. I haven't played poker. Well, Pai Gow, but you're not really playing anything, right? But congratulations to those people right there, or the anonymous player.
Yes, I mean, I would take, $2 and turn it into that. That's pretty amazing. Yes. Yeah.
If I turn $2 into $3, I won $1. Yeah. So I consider that a win. I don't ask for a whole lot.
Good. At South Point, on a Royal Flush, someone won $92,906. That's pretty awesome.
Not a bad day.
No.
Not a bad day at work at all. Bingo, because I talk about bingo, and I feel like the more that I talk about it, the more likely I am to play bingo at some point here in Vegas. And we had some feedback, actually. Somebody said on a $30,000 jackpot, "Oh, that's nothing. Send it over." Send it over. We don't have Venmo or PayPal or Patreon, but if that's how you roll with $30,000, send it over.
Right?
Because I'm more than happy to take it over.
I would take half of that even.
So somebody was playing bingo at South Point and won a $96,000 jackpot. $96,735. Congratulations. And we will be visiting South Point soon to play some bingo.
Yeah, it seems like there's been a lot of nice little wins there.
Yeah, the Plaza, South Point, Sam's Town. The Cal.
Yeah.
Everybody's winning at bingo except for us.
Yeah.
The Palms.
Yeah. All right, next one is over at the Palms. It's Dragon Link. $125 bet, which is way above my budget. Like, if I bet $5, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. But $125 bet, I mean, you're playing for keeps.
Yes.
There. They turned that into $247 for $247. That would be sad. Well, at least they wouldn't have lost.
They almost doubled their money.
Yeah. Let me try that one again. $247,896. I can't do it.
It's gonna be take 3.
Oh dear. And I haven't had a drink today. I don't know what's happening. Just can't talk. All right. Third time's a charm. They won $247,896,000. That's just amazing. Like, that's awesome. But again, that's a hefty bet.
You said it wrong again.
Did I?
Yes. You said $247,896,000.
Help me out here.
$247,896.
Yay! Oh my goodness.
Congratulations. That's huge. But I just like when I see those types of wins on those types of bets, I wonder how long they were in Vegas. If they're betting $125 per spin on a slot machine, what are they spending on table games? Like, how much are these people in by the time they win almost $250,000?
Not us, buddy. Not us.
I'm genuinely curious if you guys, anybody watching, if that's how you roll like that, please let us know your thoughts or what you would speculate somebody betting like that would already be in, or what a bankroll might be to bet like that to win that type of a jackpot.
Yeah. Last but not least, your favorite game.
Somebody back down at the Cal, down there, downtown Vegas, somebody's playing Pai Gow, which is my favorite, won the progressive jackpot, over $510,000, playing a $25 bet.
And then
plus.
And then they had to do a progressive side bet, right?
Yes.
How much is that?
$1.
So if they didn't play that $1, they would not have won the $510,000.
Correct.
They would have still won.
Yes.
But they wouldn't have won. Okay.
You'd be, so the progressive, if you guys aren't sure, is you're walking around the casino, with the exception of roulette, the table games, all the card games, you're going to see like a paddle like this on the table, and it'll have like three or four different jackpots, like 4 of a kind, 5 aces, jackpot, and then like progressive is the big one. That's the big one. That's that side bet bonus. And the dealers pretty much always ask you, are you going to bet the bonus? Are you betting bonus this time? Are you betting bonus? And then so you can't be like surprised if you didn't bet the bonus and you win and you miss out. Always play. And people say that you only play Pai Gow for the jackpots. That's why people play, because
it's not all the free drinks.
Well, because you're not really winning or losing a whole lot. You're getting, it's a social game. There's a lot of pushes, which means you don't lose. The house doesn't lose, but you're still drinking and socializing. It's a chill game. So to play to win, you're really playing the progressive bonus. You're playing those side bets. That's where you're going to win your money there. You're not going to win a lot just on your hands. You're probably just going to win. It's 1-to-1 betting there. So kind of like blackjack as far as the 1-to-1. You want the big money, you got to play the side bets.
All right, that is all our news. And we, as Sebastian mentioned, we did spend some time in Vegas. We had a 2-night stay at Caesar's Palace, one of our favorite places to stay. And again, we're not paid to say that. We just genuinely love staying at Caesar's Palace. We would definitely get our steps in, burn off the pizza, burn off the beer with such a big property. Yeah, the weather was kind of weird. It was kind of windy and cold a little bit. Yeah, I didn't like that. And Caesar's is one of those properties, because it's so massive. It's a massive property. There's tons of gambling options, retail, dining. You've got the forum shops if you just want to take a walk, take a break from the casino. There's a lot there. There is. And we love Caesar's. We did experience a few things that we did not love. We did end up having to check in way later than we typically do. So we got a room in the Augustus Tower. We got a room in the Octavius Tower, not the Augustus Tower. But we got 2 queens, so we were excited about that. But whatever, we don't spend a lot of time in the room. And the other big, sad thing that happened was we learned the hard way that for Diamond Plus, you normally get 4 free drinks per day, $25 per drink, so that's a $100 drink credit. Yep. And you can use it for whatever you want. We try to use it as the most expensive drink we can possibly use it on to get our money's worth, which is really not difficult at a bar in Vegas, especially at Caesar's Palace. But apparently, that's not the case anymore. They've made a change to where in 2025, it's month to month, not just annualized. So we're Diamond Plus. We were Diamond Plus all 2024, and there were a couple of months that we were out of town in 2024. Throughout the year, just on vacation, and we weren't there, all year long, every single day. And so we still got our free drinks, even though we had little gaps in between. We still got our free drinks, where 2025, they're doing it on a month-to-month basis. So for the month of March, we would have qualified in the month of February
for drinks in March, and I guess we didn't gamble enough in February for March, and that's the way that it was explained with Caesar's Rewards, which really didn't give a very good explanation. And I hope you're watching this because it's very disappointing. When I asked at the Caesar's Rewards desk, I said, well, how much coin in do you have to have in a month to qualify for the free drinks in the next month? And she looked at me and she said, well, I don't know. I can't tell you that. You just have to keep gambling. And I said, well, that's kind of not a real useful answer. If I don't know if I'm qualifying or not, do I just have to just go check at the bar? And she said, yes, you just have to just go ask and see if you've gambled enough, which again is a very just useless answer, really. And I feel like maybe they do have that information. They just don't want to tell you because there has to be a minimum. There has to be a coin in
number. There would have to be something that triggers like, all right, boom, now you have
there has to be a threshold that you reach that triggers your drinks. And the only thing that I can speculate is that they just want you to keep gambling, and not tell you, oh, if you do $2,000 coin in, then that triggers your free drinks, because then maybe you just stop and don't gamble for the rest of the month and you just come and have drinks every day, which could happen, I guess, but I think that's unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. And the reason we're sharing this is not like, oh, well, we didn't get our Grey Goose.
No,
it's
not at all.
It's not that at all. It's we don't want anyone else to have to go to a bar in Las Vegas expecting that you're going to have drinks and you order 4 really expensive drinks and then you realize, oh crap, I have to pay for those myself. I mean, we had reward credits, so not a big deal. I mean, it was still free drinks technically, but would I rather have used those reward credits towards dining?
Absolutely.
Yes, not on overpriced drinks at the bar.
Right.
So if you are Diamond Plus and you're in Vegas, check at the rewards desk and see if they're on your card. Check at the bar before you even get your drink.
Ask them,
please
do
check
I have
this
drinks?
First. Yes, please check this first. Don't get your drinks and then be like stuck with the drinks and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, sad Caesars, a little heads up on that would have been cool. But whatever.
Yeah.
But
that's it.
Aside from that little tiny little glitch in the staycation,
we still had a fantastic time.
Yes, we had family in town, which was always fun. We did a little filming. We had to film for Zippy's. There's a second Zippy's location. Heading to the 9th Island this week. We filmed with them. We filmed at the Atomic Museum, which is a really cool place just off the strip. So if you're looking for something like just historic and educational, but fun and interactive, especially if you're coming with kids, the Atomic Museum was a really cool place. And that was actually our first time, all this time in Vegas, that was our first time there. And it was really cool.
Well, we've driven past that building so many times.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of like, it's just looks like a building there in Vegas.
Yeah.
Not a lot of signage around it to really tell what it is.
Yeah.
I think it says like Desert Research Institute or something like that. I guess we thought that it was just part of UNLV's campus because it's around UNLV, and UNLV's campus is spread throughout the city. There's different buildings in different parts of town. I always assumed that it was just part of that there, but it's not. And it's really cool and totally worth checking out.
Yeah. I would definitely go back there. It was just, there's a lot to see. And a lot of people don't know that they used to actually do atomic bomb testing out in the desert and have watch parties. So I think that's cool. We talked a little bit about last week in our podcast about Miss Atomic Bomb, her real identity. So of course they have information on that as well. But this was a atomic testing hotspot back in the day. Yeah. Which this seems like a weird claim to fame. That's a weird flex. But we also filmed a final interview for our Cirque episodes that we're having coming up on our television show with MJ1. That was a lot of fun. So it was a busy time of work and play, but we did with playing. Got to go check out the Bellagio Conservatory. They have their birds and bees theme, their spring theme, and it's so cute. I love it. They really did.
I feel like the last couple of years, I don't know if they've gotten a new team or there's new direction, but I feel like the last couple of years have been so much better than previous years.
Yeah, they just keep kind of outdoing themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did bring the birds back, which I think the birds are so much fun because one of the weird little things that we like to do when we go to the Bellagio Conservatory is find a spot where we can take a weird picture. So, you know, the birds really help with that. You know, you can have them on your head, you can act like you're being attacked by them. It makes it a little more fun. So, you know, there's a little photo tip for anyone out there who's odd like we are.
That was really fun though. And it's one of those rare, family-friendly, free things that you can do. It's at your own pace. It's 24/7. So whenever you just want to take a break or do something different, it's right there. It's always open, ready for you to pop in.
Yeah, so another great staycation in the books. Can't complain except for a little bit about those drinks. All right, let's get into the weather. Here's what you can expect for the weather this week in Vegas. It is going to be actually beautiful.
Really nice for being outside. So I know we talk about getting out of the casino all the time. We do gamble. We are Diamond Plus, and we will be Diamond Plus again next year. We're well on our way. That should be easy. But we do spend a lot of time outside of the casino as well. At this time of year, the weather, like it's going to be this week and through this weekend, it's going to be just perfect for doing something different, like checking out the Arts District, East Fremont, Springs Preserve, Red Rock, just walking, exploring the Strip, Bellagio fountains. It's going to be mid-70s, full sun.
We're even going to be getting into the 80s, which is beautiful. That's perfect pool weather too.
Yes.
So if your idea of outside is in a pool with some cocktails, then, you know, you can be outdoorsy that way as well. But do keep in mind that overnight, it's going to drop 20 to 30 degrees, and it drops once that sun goes down. You start to feel it immediately. And because we're a desert climate, it does take a while in the mornings to warm up. So we really don't reach our daily high, like usually around 4 o'clock.
Around 4-ish this time of year, yeah.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind as well, that those highs aren't until almost sunset.
And the pools close at about 5.
Yeah.
So you have about an hour of peak weather, and then it starts to cool down.
But on to the events this week in Vegas. We've got Dead & Company back at the Sphere. They're going to be there the 27th, 28th, and the 29th.
Carrie Underwood doing her thing at Resorts World Las Vegas, 26th, 28th, and 29th.
And she is an American Idol judge now. She's back to where she began.
Yeah, full circle.
Yeah. Barry Manilow is going to be at Westgate on the 27th, 28th, and the 30th. And he will be there for as long as he wants to be there.
Yeah, because he's got a lifetime contract.
Yep.
Kelsey Ballerini, who's going to be over at T-Mobile Arena, that's going to be on the 28th.
And Don McLean is going to be at the Golden Nugget on the 28th as well. Is Don McLean American Pie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Wow, he's still around.
I wonder if that'll be it for the song. I'm just kidding. It's a long song.
It's a one-hit wonder tour.
No. Well, I think he has other hits, but it's such a long song that might be.
It's a very long song.
That might be the whole concert.
Yes.
Just kidding.
That's over at the Golden Nugget.
Yeah, in their showroom. And then Motley Crue is going to be at Dolby Live on the 28th and the 29th. That should be interesting. You guys might not know, Vince Neil does actually live in Las Vegas. He's had a couple different entrepreneurial, I can't even say that
That's
word.
That's right.
I can't talk today, good Lord. He's had restaurants, some clubs, things he's owned here. We actually ran into him years and years ago, before we even lived in Vegas. We were still living in Hawaii at the time and traveled. And I was a big Motley Crue fan back in the day, and worked up the courage to ask for a picture. And he was willing to take a picture with me, and I was all ready for the picture. And then this guy and one of my friends decided they were going to just sidle on up and not even photobomb. They joined in the picture. And kind of startled Vince because he thought it was just going to be the two of us. I thought it was going to be the two of us.
I'm sure it's not the first time somebody popped in for a photo.
Yeah, but I cropped him out, so I got what I wanted with that one. But yeah, he is a Vegas local, so I wonder how that'll be, the crew reunited in Vegas.
And that's at Dolby Live, which is a nice theater.
Yeah. All right, what's coming up next?
We've got May Day at Allegiant Stadium on the 29th.
Paulo Gatta is going to be at Brad Garrett's on the 23rd. He is such a funny comedian. We recently had a chance to see him. and he's just hilarious. Just a really funny guy. So
Yeah.
if you have a chance, that would be a comedian that I would recommend seeing. And I think the prices at Brad Garrett's are fairly reasonable
Yeah.
as well.
And MGM is such a great property to just go do something at.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many dining options. There's plenty of gambling. Christina's gone to a show before with one of our friends, and I just hung out there for a couple hours and did not get bored at all. There's so much dining. There's so much live music at the various bars.
Free live music,
with
yeah.
no cover charge. The service is fantastic. The casino is massive. So it's a really great place to make an evening out of something like going to Brad Garrett's also.
Yeah. And then another comedian, Chris Tucker, is going to be at the CWIN on the 28th and the 29th.
And then we've got Ron White over at the Cosmopolitan on the 29th.
And then moving into sports, we have the Vegas Golden Knights at T-Mobile Arena versus the Lightning, Tampa Bay, on the 23rd.
And then we've got some boxing, Michaela Mayer versus Sandy Ryan over at Fontainebleau on the 29th. I feel like this is the second boxing we've had at Fontainebleau so far.
I think Fontainebleau is trying to just be a mix of all types of entertainment. I mean,
Yeah.
they have like their resident DJs, they have, music concerts.
They have ice skating
they
at
have
the pool
sports
over
stuff.
the winter.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that
Yeah.
they're really trying to be a casino and entertainment venue for everyone.
It's a beautiful property.
Beautiful property, great dining options in there.
Tremendous dining
It's just-
options.
Yeah.
Artwork everywhere where you could just kind of cruise around the casino. It's really not surprising that they're doing more to reach a wider demographic and try to get as many people into the property as they can.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it's looking like it's going to be a busy week in Vegas, definitely a busy weekend in Vegas this week. And of course, it's still March Madness happening, so sports books, sports bars, all of that stuff is going to be busy this week for sure with all of that too.
And as we always say, guys, stay up to date on your particular event, the venue that you're coming into an event for. They do have different policies at the events than the artist may have. So for example, Usher may be at Dolby Live and have a certain policy for bag size, whether you can have your phone or not. And then Bruno Mars could be there the very next day and have a completely different policy. So it's not Dolby Live that's creating those policies. Dolby Live is going to have their own policy, and then the artist and their management company is going to have their set of rules on top of that. So check with both of them.
All right, that's it for this week in Vegas, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you want even more Vegas, be sure to stay tuned for a new episode of Ninth Island Connection right here on Hey Vegas.